Have you been thinking about getting a home equity line of credit or a HELOC, personal line of credit, but you're not sure what you're getting yourself into? It's like there's so much information out there that it's like information overload. You're not sure how it really works. And what about the payments? How does that work? Is it interest only? And variable rates? I was told that was bad. Draw periods, there's repayment periods. How does this even work? If all this is just too much, then I got you. But you gotta stick around to the end of the video. When this video is done, you will be an expert on HELOC payments. And you'll be able to explain it to a fifth grader. Well, maybe not a fifth grader, maybe a fifth-year college student. Okay, maybe not them either, but you get my point. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how HELOCs and personal line of credit work. Here's what we're covering today. First, how HELOC interest rates are set. Second, how payments work during the draw period. And last, I'll share my 4 golden rules for using a HELOC personal line of credit safely that reduces your risk and gives you the confidence you need to use it with certainty. Sounds good? I hope so. But before we start, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Anitra Preston, co-founder of Vertical Capital. Now, if you've been watching Elridge and I for some time, then you've probably already figured out that we are huge fans of lines of credit. We use them to pay off debt and to build massive amounts of wealth. And we teach our students to do the same. In fact, this is how Will grew his personal finance system from $0 to $50,000 in just 12 months. And then there's Eltis. He hit the ground running, and in just 120 days, he went from $0 to $18,000. And if you're anything like Coach TJ, you love your job and you shy away from complicated high-risk investments, but you're serious about building wealth. Oh, and you are aggressive too. Then you too can get to $103,000 in just 12 months. Now, everyone is different, and of course these results vary. But no matter where you are in life, we can help you get to your financial goal. But the first step is for you to join our free community and schedule your free call. The link to the community is in the description. All right, let's get into it. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit. It's a revolving line of credit secured by your home. Right now, as of August 2025, HELOC rates are starting at an average around 8.12% or 8.12%. The rate varies significantly based on your credit score, of course, the loan amount, the location, and the type of lender. Now let's talk about this a little deeper. And here is where a lot of people get tripped up. They look at the interest rate of 8.12% and think that's too high. Their brain automatically calculates it like an amortized loan with a fixed annual rate. When they think about their poor experience with credit cards and assume it's probably going to be a disaster. Listen, I get it. If you haven't quite figured out how to manage strategic debt and make it work for you and not against you, then of course it's scary. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I got you. On a HELOC or a personal line of credit, you are charged interest only on what you use, not the entire amount like an amortized loan. Allow me to break it down. There is a difference between effective interest rates versus annual interest rates. Let's say you have a HELOC or personal line of credit with an annual interest rate of 5%. Now don't get caught up on the interest rate. I know today's rates are higher, but the higher rate does not change the math. I'm using these numbers because I already did the math in a free class that I teach in our community. Okay, so let's pretend you carried a balance of $15,000 for 30 days at 5%. This means your interest charge for the month is $61.64. Remember, HELOCs and personal lines of credit payments are generally interest-only payments on a monthly basis. So the principal is not part of the monthly payment like an amortized loan. So in this example, to keep in good standing with the bank, you would pay $61.64 per month. This is the annual 5% interest charge for the month. Now, if you keep this balance for 12 months, the annual total charge is $750, representing the 5% annual interest rate. You with me so far? I hope so. Using the same example, let's say you drop $6,000 on a line of credit. Perhaps you got this from your income. Now, instead of being charged $61.64 in interest for that month, you are now being charged $37.72 in interest for that month. You just lowered your 5% annual rate to 3.2%. Oh my gosh, you heard what I just said? You went from 5% interest rate to a 3.2% interest rate, and the bank didn't do a darn thing different. But what happened? What happened is you lowered your daily balance when you dropped the $6,000 in the line. The 3%, this is the effective interest rate, which you have absolute control over. This is one of the beauties of a home equity line of credit or a personal line of credit. You can keep the interest super low, which means the banks make less money, and they hate this, guys. This is why when you ask for a HELOC, lenders will often try to talk you out of it and push you into a cash out refinance because they don't make a lot of money off of you if you manage this the right way. And this is why they shun you from HELOCs and lines of credit. But I'm here to tell you, don't fall for the okie doke. If a HELOC is what you're going after, then a HELOC is what you should get. So here's the problem. There are so many sources covering HELOCs that it's difficult to know what's true and what's just biased opinion. That's why Elridge and I spent months and thousands of dollars to develop this calculator. It was built with you in mind to help you understand the numbers. It's math and not bias. On a HELOC, the rate is not charged until you actually use the money. On an amortized loan, like cash out refinance, you are charged the annual rate from day one until the loan is paid off. Okay, now that we got that straight, let's talk about the two phases of a HELOC or a personal line of credit. By the way, everything that I'm talking about applies to a personal line of credit too. So here's phase one, the draw period. The draw period is usually the first 10 years of the loan. This is when you can pull money out of the line of credit, and it's really that simple, guys. You take the money out, you put it back, or you borrow the money and you repay it back, and you use it over and over and over again. You can do this for up to 10 years. If you get a HELOC from a credit union, it's generally for 5 years, but on average, 10 years is the draw period. And then there's phase two, the repayment period. This is when the outstanding balance changes to a traditional loan. Now, you're going to be paying principal and interest, and you can no longer take draws from the line. It changes to an amortized loan, typically around 15 years long. And now the payments are fixed and higher because you no longer have control to lower the daily balance like I spoke about earlier. But, and yes, there's a but, guess who has control? You guessed it, it's you. Now, this is where keeping your credit in good shape and your income high enough to support the outstanding balance matters. You don't have to enter into a repayment period if you don't want to. You can re-qualify for the same line of credit with the same bank. Now, of course, don't be no fool. If you didn't do right by the bank during this last 10-year period and your credit is shot or you lost income, then you ain't got a leg to stand on. But if you performed well over these past 10 years, built a relationship, kept your credit right, your income was steady, and you didn't increase your expenses, then you have a really good chance of re-qualifying for the same HELOC that you're currently in. If this happens and you're approved, You just pick back up where you left off. In my experience with personal lines of credit, I have had 2 different personal lines of credit at 2 different banks. And generally what happens is about a month before the loan is set to enter into the repayment period, the banker will call and ask if I want to keep it as a line of credit. And then we begin the process all over again. Now let me leave you with this. There are 4 rules that you should follow using a HELOC. By following these 4 rules, you are definitely reducing your risk and you are certain to operate the line more efficiently. Rule number 1, keep it short term. If you can't repay what you borrowed within 12 to 18 months, then don't use the HELOC or a personal line of credit. That's just not the right source of capital for whatever it is that you're trying to do. Rule number 2, always have an exit strategy. Before you pull a single dollar out of the line, you should already have a repayment plan in place. Rule number 3, don't over leverage. Just because you have access to this money doesn't mean you can't afford it. This is the temptation part. Now ask me how I know, because I've been there, done it, and did it before. You should not be using more than 50% of the line at any given point in time if you cannot afford to pay it off. But to be more conservative, let's go with 2 times your monthly income. This is a super safe zone, and I think you should practice it. If you bring in $5,000 a month, then only use $10,000 of this line of credit at any given point in time, especially if you're paying off debt. This helps you not to over leverage, and it also helps keep your credit score in check on a monthly basis. And rule number 4, only use it to make more money or to pay off debt. That's it. No cars, no vacation, no reserves. For reserves, you should be probably using a high yield savings account for that anyway. So now you know what HELOC rates look like, how the payments change, and the rules to keep you safe. Do you feel like an expert? Well, you should. You should now be able to apply for your HELOC with confidence. Hey, if this has helped you at all, hit the like button and drop a comment and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video.